Hiya folks, I hope you're well. So, went downtown, I had to get a few bits and pieces. So, yeah, I was running out of tea bags and milk. So I thought, okay, go and get that. So, as I was walking around town after getting the tea bags, yeah, St Giles Church had something going on. Yeah. So I went in just to say hello to see what it was. That's the church right in the middle of the high street. That one. Well, at the end of the high street, really. Yes. And they were doing something that I think is to do with mental health. Because it is about suicide and all that. But it's also, yeah, my attention was got by the fact that one of the people doing it had a big rainbow badge and ugh. So I said no. I said I'm not anything to do with the rainbow. Wouldn't actually kind of bite it. I was explaining to him, look, I said, with regards to trans, okay, if you meet someone who's trans, you say, okay, it's your life. If this is what you feel is appropriate for your life, then okay. I hope it makes your life better. You know, transitioning from one gender to another. Okay. I said, but yeah, when they took it into schools, they went too far. Yeah. When they had that situation, I said, because I said, once in a school, even if kids have just heard about it, whether they've heard about it in another school or in their school, that if a boy has stood up and said that he believes he's in the wrong gender, then all the teachers start to clap and cheer, and all the other kids start to clap and cheer, and suddenly he's the most popular kid in school, that everyone likes him, everyone thinks he's wonderful because he's doing this thing, he's so brave. I said there's a lot of kids in school that aren't happy, that don't have a lot of friends. And if they think this is the way to get friends, which in a child's mind, yeah. If I do that, people will like me. That's what they think. They can't understand the consequences that go with that. They can only see that equals that. If I do that, then I might be as popular as that kid is right now. For a lot of children, that's something that's very, very welcoming. They like that. So, no, I just said about that. And I said, look, for me, they just went too far. I understand, I said, from my own youth, we were dealing with gay rights and gay marriage and stuff like that. I said, but even that, I said, you have this situation there with gay marriage that you have the church. The church is now put in a position of being questioned about gay marriage. Would they perform a gay marriage? The problem is, church got beat down then. And so now, church is quite happy to have things like this, talking about changing gender, when God created them man and woman. What are they doing having those sort of things in a church? It's all very well, this is the point, these places, they want things in there because they get money from it, right? The organisations that do this, they pay the church money to be able to use that as the place that they do it. But therefore you've got the devil coming into the church all the time. The devil comes in. Churches have things like weight loss, meetings in their church. But again, sorry, that's of this world. You're bringing the world into the church all the time. What the heck are you doing? So yeah, if you want to understand why the church is now very much of the world, well, after years and years and years of inviting the world in, yeah. What do you think the devil's going to do? You invite him into the church, what do you think he's going to do? Come in and leave peacefully? Or take over? Yeah, of course he's going to take over. Well, and outside there, met Oksana, the lady that I met in the Pentecostal church, not yesterday, week before. Lovely lady. She is a very beautiful young lady. Her nature is not, I couldn't care less about her looks or anything like that, but her nature, she has that joy for God, which is cool. Yeah, she's about the only person that I've actually met in the area. I wouldn't know anyone else. Then I think, okay, this person has the potential of having that sort of relationship with God, in learning to walk as a son. She has that potential. I can't say she's going to make it, because again, that's based upon a hard journey ahead, and she will need support to be able to do that. And so I don't know whether she will make it, but at the moment she's like many. She's doing the things she's learned to do, and so this is where one of the biggest problems for her will be. Seems it is for everyone, really. When you've learnt bad habits and bad ways, one of the first things that has to happen is that you have to understand about those bad habits and bad ways that are not of God and that aren't helpful. And the problem is, if you're being told you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you need to be a very special person to be able to sit through that and take that. It's hard enough getting that from God, and it is. I've had it. It's a damn sight more difficult getting that from someone who you don't know, and who doesn't really know you, and who, as people say, who hasn't earned the right to speak that way to you. Yeah. That's the biggest problem for people. Really is. The biggest problem is that they've learned bad things, and they have to have all that bad stuff taken out before the good stuff can be put in. Same as the garden. If you have a garden where that garden is overgrown, full of crap, you can't plant lovely things in that garden. You've got to dig it up first, haven't you? Yeah. Yeah, as I say. But the digging up is difficult. That's why it's best if God does it. Yeah. Best thing to do is start the process and leave the rest to God. Because then they're far more likely to take it. What you want is people to be able to go through that, because you understand how wonderful it is when you come out the other side. But going through it isn't easy. And again, I don't know what Oksana has been through in her journey already. So therefore, whether she can take it, I don't know. That's up to God. It is indeed. That is for God to be the one to show whether or not she can take it. Yeah. So, there you go. But also, it's quite cool talking to a lady in Tesco's who does the photography stuff. I was saying to her the fact that I can now eat more, and I can now drink alcohol, drink wine and stuff like that now, because I'm not driving. So she said, "Oh, I like your outlook." I said, "Well, it swings and roundabouts." I said, "You lose the ability to get where you want to get to immediately because you can't drive. But there are some benefits. You can eat more cake, more puddings, because you're walking off the calories. You can drink alcohol because you won't be driving at any point in time. So, yeah. Swings and roundabouts. When I was driving, I couldn't drink because, as far as I knew, I could be going out of the car at any moment. So therefore, I didn't drink. Now, I can drink at any point in time during the day. And I do. So there you go. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.